Hey there, welcome to a video discussing the classwork for section 1.7 on perimeter, circumference, and area. My apologies for not making this video on Friday. After class was out, I picked my son from his camp at Ansel Hoffman, and we were rushing to get to the airport. So, and of course, when you do get to a new place, you have to settle down and you're pretty tired. But it's about 6 in the morning right now here in San Diego, and I'm usually up by 5 in the morning. Kids are asleep, wife's still asleep, and I'm in the lobby. So if there's some background music, hopefully that's not interfering with your listening of this video. Anyhow, let's get to this section here. It should be a very short video, no more than 8 to 10 minutes. So here we got a warm up. You're asked to find the approximate distance between 2 points and also solve an equation. Let's do the equation first. That's pretty easy. You have 1/2 times 5x equals 30. Usually when I see a fraction next to a variable, I like to multiply by its reciprocal, meaning I flip the fraction over. That's what a reciprocal is. So I'll multiply both sides by 2. Remember, whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other side for fair treatment. So those will cancel. So 5x equals 60. Then we divide by 5, of course. So x equals 12. Here, remember we talked about when you have 2 points, you could use a distance formula, which is a pretty wacky looking formula, or you can just plot the points and connect the 2 points. So here's -1, 4. Here's 2, 3. We connect these points very simply, like that. And then you draw a right triangle around that segment, like that. So if you think about it, that's the length of 1, because you're going from 3 to 4, right? And then this is the length of 3, because you're going from 2 to -1. And we'll call this C. Remember, if Pythagorean theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. C squared is 10. So C is root 10. So that's the distance between the 2 points. Okay, there's a warm up. Hopefully you guys are cool with that. And the one nice thing about video lessons is that you can always pause and reflect on what you've just learned. Okay, so now formulas for perimeter, area, and circumference. So we have 4 shapes here. We have a square, a triangle, a rectangle, and a circle. Square, hopefully this makes sense. It's just going to be the base times the height, or the length times the width, however you want to think of it. All the sides are the same, of course, because it is a square. So it's simply just s times s, which is s squared. And the perimeter, you add up all the sides. So you're adding up s 4 times, which combines is 4s. For a rectangle, again, it's length times width. So duh, there it is, length times width. Not much more to it than that. And then the perimeter is going to be adding up all the sides. So you have L twice, right? You have W twice. So it's 2L plus 2W. And if you were like our classroom, for example, if you were to measure the area, you want to measure how wide it is, measure how long it is, and multiply those two together. Or let's say the house or the home where you live, you have several rooms. I assume most of those rooms are probably rectangular, and you want to know how many square feet your home is. That's what you do. You just simply multiply length and width of each room, to get the area of each room, and add up all those areas, right? If you were to go to like Zillow or Redfin, and if you were to look up your house and say, okay, it'll tell you the square footage of your house, and that's usually recorded somewhere in the county, wherever you live. But that's how it's computed, right? It's just very simple. You take the length times width, multiply those two numbers together. And of course, if you have several rooms in your house that are shaped like a rectangle, you add up all those areas, and that's your square footage, or the area of your home. Well, if you happen to have a circular room in your house, that'd be kind of cool. And actually, the table I'm actually sitting on right now is circular. The area is simply pi r squared. Pi is a constant. It's 3.14 roughly. And the r obviously is the radius. The radius is a distance from any point on the circle to the center. A circle is defined as a set of all points that are always of equal distance to the center. So if I pick this point right here, that radius would be the same as the radius that you see right now. And the circumference is 2 pi r. That's just the circular distance you traverse or travel around the circle. So if I were to like wear a device that tracks my steps or the distance I walk, you'd use this formula here. And remember, area is always going to be a squared quantity. It's always a squared quantity because you're multiplying 2 dimensions together, just like I did for a square or for a rectangle. So here it's like saying pi times r times r. But circumference is linear, just like perimeter is linear, meaning it's not a squared. So it's just going to be like in feet or meters. So that's just 2 pi r, or 2 times 3.14 times r. Finally, for a triangle, if you think about it, it's kind of like taking a portion of a square, right? Where actually, let's do this. Let's draw a rectangle. If I were to do this, that's a base, that's a height. It's pretty clear the green triangle is half of the red rectangle. So that's why we can deduce that the area of a rectangle just be half base times height. It's like a rectangle, but you do half. That's the area. And the perimeter just have all sides, obviously. And the height is always defined as a perpendicular segment from one corner to one of the sides of the triangle. So it's always a perpendicular, that's a symbol for perpendicular, just so you know. A perpendicular segment from corner to one of the sides. Just so you know. Okay, let's do some problems now with area, perimeter, and circumference. I'm here asked to find the perimeter area of the basketball court. Well, if that's 84, that's 84, right? That should be intuitive. And if that's 50, that's 50. So the perimeter is simply just multiplying one of the dimensions by 2 and adding it to 2 times the other dimension. Or you can just add 50 to 50, 84 to 84. Same thing. It's up to you. That's 100. That's 168 if you use a calculator. And you get 268. And do safety units, 268 feet. Area, just multiply 2 together. And that is where I probably should be using a calculator. So I'll get my cell phone out here. $4,200. Okay. Now, find the approximate circumference area of the soccer patch shown. Well, let's see here. That's gonna be pretty easy. The radius is gonna be 4.5. Let's use a different color. Sorry. That's because that's gonna be half of 9. My diameter, the diameter is the length from one end to another end of a circle, which is, they show as 9, but the radius is half the diameter, or half of 9, which is 4.5. So circumference is 2 pi r, or 2 pi times 4.5, which would be 9 pi. And you can leave the answers in terms of pi. You don't have to multiply the pi out. Some people like to. And then you get some weird number. Which actually, maybe if you do have a house in your, sorry, room in your house that's circular, or maybe you need to buy like a table cover for your dining room table that's circular. In our house, our dining room table is circular. If you want to get a cover, then yeah, you would want to know that you would want to multiply pi out, because if you tell a company, hey, yeah, my circumference of my table is 9 pi, they're gonna look at you funny, right? So you need to give them a more precise measurement. Personally, I don't care if you use a decimal or if you leave it in terms of pi. Usually it's good to leave things in terms of pi so you don't make any mistakes in your computation or calculation, but yeah. And then the area is pi r squared. And total, I need a calculator for this one. 4.5 times 4.5. That's 20.25 pi. And I'll just leave the answer in terms of pi there. So yeah, that's pretty simple. Hopefully it's not too hard. One comma 2, 4 comma 6, 5 comma 2. So you got to plot the points. There you go. Just to find the perimeter. Now, that's gonna be a little tricky, because it means you need to get the distance. For each segment. That's the length of 4, okay? That's pretty easy, it's not too bad, because you're going from 1 to 5, and that's horizontal. Now, let me label these other two sides as A, B, right? All right, let's keep moving here. Anyway, so let's go ahead and figure this out. Two, 3, 4. 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So you got to do Pythagorean theorem here. We'll work that out. So you get 5. And then to get the other side here, it looks like that's also a length of 4. One. So again, you do Pythagorean theorem here as well. That's 1 squared plus 4 squared equals c squared. So c is root 17. So this side is root 17 right here. So the sides are 5 plus 4 plus root 17. Or 9 plus root 17. You can leave your answer like that. You don't have to give a decimal if you don't want to. If you do give a decimal, I'll switch the scientific mode of my cell phone calculator here. Root 17 is 4.123. I'll say 4.1. So you can also say it's 13.1. And there are no units here, so don't worry about the units. So that would be the perimeter here. So what you have to do is you have to find the distance of each segment, right? The horizontal leg was pretty easy from 1 to 5, but the other two sides were slanted. I had to do Pythagorean theorem by drawing right triangles around those segments. And then, just simply saying, oh yeah, this is a length of 4 right here, a length of 3, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and doing likewise for the other side. So here it says you try. It's a good opportunity for you to probably pause the video, but I'll do it anyway. Okay. But see if you could do it on your own before you watch me do it. All right, let me do it. So that's 4. That's 6 and 3. I could do this quickly in my head. I know it's root 45. And that's going to be 6 and 1. That's going to be root 37. So the answer is 4 plus root 45 plus root 37 for the perimeter. Right, perimeter's adding up both sides. And you can leave your answer like that. That's totally fine. But if you did want to 6.7, so 4 and root 37 is also 6.1. That'd be 16.8. And there we go. But then they also ask for the area too. So when you want area, you need a base. You need to call one side's base. You need a height. You need a perpendicular segment connecting to the base. We'll call this the base. Let's call this the height. If you kind of tilt your head to the right, or if you take the triangle and rotate it counterclockwise to the left, kind of like this, you can see the triangle would now be sitting on EG. So then the triangle kind of look like this now, where that's E, that's G, and that's F. If you do a rotation of 90 degrees counterclockwise, CCW stands for counterclockwise. So the base here is going to be length of 5, because, sorry, length of 4. Did it earlier, sorry. It is early in the morning here. And the height is going to be 6, because you're going from 1 to 7. Draw a little nicer than that. So 1/2 times 4 times 6 is 12. And that's my area. That's my area right there. Okay. We're at the home stretch here. Looks like this video is taking a little longer than 10 minutes. So I apologize. Here they're asking you, a machine can resurface. This is a Zamboni for a hockey. I don't know why it's called a Zamboni. Maybe it's the person who invented it. Used to go to a lot of hockey games down in San Jose, but not anymore with kids. Anyway, and the pandemic too. The machine can resurface about 270 square yards of ice in 1 minute. Okay. How many minutes will it take to resurface the whole rink, which is 70 yards by 30 yards wide? Kind of interesting because the rink is more circular, but it's okay. We'll go with this. We'll assume it's rectangular. So if it's rectangular, the area is length times width, or 70 times 30, which would be 2100. Use a calculator if you need to, square yards. Well, it does 270 square yards in 1 minute. So what you're going to want to do is set up a proportion. So it's 2 ratios. A proportion is 2 ratios of equal value. Okay. So 270 square yards, 1 minute, equals 2100 square yards X minutes, because we want to know how many minutes it would take to do 2100 square yards. So if it's 1 minute to do 270, how many minutes would it take to do 2100? What you could do is you can cross multiply to solve this. So I do 270 times X equals 2100, where X is 2100 over 270. It looks like it takes 7.8 minutes, which actually kind of makes sense because when I've been to hockey games, it usually takes about 10 minutes. So usually they do it during the intermission between periods to make sure the ice is nice and smooth for the hockey players come out and skate again and beat each other up on the glass. Anyway, yeah, so about 8 minutes or 7.8 minutes. But that's a proportion. So 270 over 1 equals, because clearly it's got to take longer to do 2100. 2100 is more than 270. Or you could have just done 2100 divided by 270. Same thing. But I want to show you a proportion like I had right here. All right, last problem. The base of the triangle is 28 meters. Its area is 208 square meters. Find the height. So you got to work a little backwards. Area is 1/2 times base times height. The area total is 208. The base is given to you here. It's 28. You got to solve for height. Half of 20 is 14. Then you got to do 208 divided by 14. So let me compute that really fast. 208 divided by 14. About 14, a lot of weird numbers here. 14.9. And give the units 14.9 meters. So hopefully you guys learned something about area and you'll feel more comfortable doing the homework. Remember the homework, in addition to watching this video, and I will ask you to upload your notes as well, just to make sure that you did it. But the homework is right here. It's just more practice with perimeter and area. And I think the odd answers are provided. Yeah, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15. But the evens are not. So we'll go over the evens in class on Tuesday. Remember, class on Tuesday is on Zoom. If I just show you the schedule here. You can see I'm a pretty busy guy. I got a lot of appointments here, but obviously, we're on vacation. You can see my vacation places we're staying at. We're staying at some pretty nice places here. But yeah, I mean, I put 9 to 1, but you can see here I say that we'll meet for a portion of class for a live lesson at 9 o'clock. So I'll go over the homework, kind of get you guys started with the asynchronous lesson, which would be a video for you guys to watch on whatever topic we're covering that day. Topics, let me rephrase that, it's plural. And of course, give yourself a little break in the middle. And then we'll come back and check in again around 12 o'clock, do some problems from some worksheets and stuff like that. So yeah, I won't be able to meet for a full 3 or 4 hours next week because we are going to be in transit, just doing different things in the family. But I'm still going to see you guys at 9 o'clock in the morning each day. Well, actually, let me get back to the 24th because we're driving from Arizona to San Diego. So let me get back to you about that. And you can see we fly back at 5 o'clock that night. But yeah, but still, we'll be at 9 o'clock on Zoom, and you have the links here. And of course, we'll meet again later in the afternoon while my daughter's napping around 12 o'clock. She didn't get a nap yesterday, so she was full zombie when we came back. Anyway, a little more detail you guys probably would care to know. And then in addition to doing this worksheet here, I also want you guys working on this review here. And you can find all these at the end of the chapter 1 worksheet packet. But I did upload them to Schoology. You can see they're, oh, I did not upload them. That's funny. Well, I will upload them anyway. But you should have it, regardless. And yeah, so this is just review of everything we did on Thursday and Friday. I don't have an answer key for this set yet. I'd like to make one right now, but I I do need to buy toothbrushes for my kids because they forgot their toothbrushes at home. And also my wife wants decaf coffee. So they're gonna be getting up pretty soon. They'll be wondering where I am, which of course is the lobby of this hotel here. But yeah, anyway. And I think all the answers are provided. That's nice. Okay, so you can see how you're doing with this. You can see some area and perimeter stuff are at the end. Naming polygons, supplementary angles, complementary angles, bisecting angles, some algebra involved, bisecting segments, naming points, all that stuff. So this is a great review to make sure you're understanding everything we've done so far. So, okay, so this video is taking a little longer than I had hoped, but I think we're done. So great. I think we're also, I'm going to stop the recording and download it. And then, yeah, and I'll post the link. And also I'll post the link from yesterday's class if you need to watch that again, if you think that'll help. Because I didn't record Thursday's lesson, unfortunately, but I did record Friday's lesson. So I'll put that there if you'd like to watch that again. And then all answer keys for all worksheets. I gotta do that probably maybe late tonight or tomorrow morning. Terminology sheets. I promised a sheet of all the terms we've covered, all the definitions. I'll put that when I get a chance. But just keep an eye out for Schoology. I'll shoot you emails or put updates to Schoology once I've done updates. So great. Well, I'm gonna stop.